Welcome to the Lemon Lounge. Um, unhinged.
Unhinged.
I'm about to be unhinged specifically.
He's gonna go.
I have a topic that I'm very passionate about and very I'm trying to become a little bit more aware of it and a little bit more informed on it. But I'll just go out and say it. I hate using Facebook. I hate using Messenger, and I hate the culture that it created. With people constantly thinking that they can always be in touch with you no matter what time of day it is, no matter how long. Like, people expect you to respond like immediately because you have read receipts on there. They can see your activity on Facebook. It's just disgusting, and we've normalized it. And I'm already getting unhinged.
I'm gonna stand here and I say I love it, except I don't care for like spending hours going through timelines, but I like how I'm connected with people. Like, it's the only thing I still use it for.
It connects people, but at
like,
what cost?
I manage
Dylan,
groups. I'm
at
a part
what
of
cost?
Groups. The cost of nothing if you don't care.
It's free.
All right, here's the deal. Here's the deal with Facebook. All right. So I was reading an article that kind of like enlightened me a little bit about like our willingness to share our own information is so weird. Like, Facebook, like, there's a quote of Mark Zuckerberg referring to the original Facebook users as dumb fucks.
Yeah.
Because he was like, why would they trust me with their information? Like, people just willingly gave out their names, their birthday, their address, like all this stuff because it's a social networking website where everybody's doing it.
Well,
right?
that was like the beta of it, right? Like when he was like working to see how big he can, like, is this going to work? The idea he had. So he got petitions and things and like, will people submit this type of information just as a test to see, like, can we function with this information?
Right.
And he was expecting there to be people like, I don't know, I don't think so. I don't want to put my information out there. And he was shocked. It was like 20,000 people or something right away were like, just here's all the information. And he was like, are you kidding me? You serious?
Yeah. It's pretty messed up. And it just kind of puts into perspective like the sheer amount of data and information we just give up to this website and give up to the internet for people to see. It kind of makes, and you know, everybody's always worried about their privacy, but then here we are.
I'm gonna take the stance of like, I'm one of the people who I don't care what I'm giving, because like I'm not giving him any. I'm not giving the site anything too personal. Like, it doesn't know my day to day, but it's me. It's like everything. I'm a media person, so like I'm used to doing these stuff. It's all of my job.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, like, everyone is very quick to pounce at like how they collect data on what you like and give you stuff. But I kind of like that because it brings like I've gone like about 5 good products that I really love because they popped up randomly on me.
Interesting. Now,
so I think it makes it easy because I'm not looking for these products. The product that is everything I wanted just came to me.
see, you represent like what
A
Facebook
minority.
wants. No, like that's like exactly what they're looking to do. But for me, it just kind of creates this feeling of like
Nothing you do is private.
Yeah.
like I get scared thinking like, what data is being harvested like without my knowledge? And Facebook owns so many websites. All right, so you guys ready? All right, so in my SBE class, we go to college. Okay, I had a special education class, and we had to present on a current event about Facebook and how Facebook was selling data. All right, this might also be paraphrased. I didn't do a very good job. But Facebook owns so many websites.
Yeah.
Right? And they were collecting and harvesting data and determining if the people who were surfing these websites were disabled or not. Right? They were able to like discern if people had a disability through the websites that they were browsing through.
Right.
And Facebook sold that data to advertising companies for housing specifically. And then those housing companies targeted ads away from disabled people in hopes to not have disabled people live in their houses and like live in their housing.
That's the legitimate stretch that is sketchy.
But the thing, like, people would like argue saying like, well, first of all, that's a violation of like the Fair Housing Act.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep hitting the table. But that's a violation of the Fair Housing Act. But
Yes.
the thing is, like, Facebook wanted to defend it, saying like, we are targeting ads at these people that are it's exactly what it's supposed to do. Give you advertisements that work for things that you're interested in and things that would be effective towards you. But like, this doesn't necessarily work like that. And the thing about targeted ads that I don't feel comfortable with is that they're judging what I want based off of the searches that I do.
Yeah. And
right?
it doesn't always work. Like I said, like 5 products when I have many products.
Yeah.
So like,
It's like,
it's not perfect, but like sometimes it brings you that little gem. But I didn't think of people being untargeted.
yeah,
That's a different way to go with it.
it's a little weird to think about.
A little sketchy.
And just in general, it has me worried, like, thinking about the information I have out there that I don't even realize I have out there.
There's a part in the article that talks about when you post photos to Facebook, like they end up getting stockpiled together into like what your name is, and the places that come and like do the data harvesting and everything, they take those chunks of all the photos, and it's almost like, you know, you put all your information down probably on your profile. It says like, I'm a musician, I'm doing this degree at this school, I live in this town. Like, that's your plotted out information. And the photos like themselves, it's almost like they see you as a completely different person. So if you like have a bunch of pictures of you, you know, drinking wine on your dashboard or whatever you call it, I forget, profile, they could start trying to advertise a bunch of wine to you, but like, you've only drank like a little bit, you know, that's not what you do all the time. So like the advertisements that start coming towards you are things that like you never would touch. Or like, let's say you're gonna buy a gag gift for a friend, so you Google search like, you know, I don't know, you just do something obscene that obviously you're not interested in, they're not interested in, you're doing it to be, you know, funny. And then all of a sudden for the next year, you get that at the top of your advertising all the time. You're like, why? They're taking the data and they're saying, well, this is that kind of person, we're going to put them in this one category. And like, you have no affiliation with that category. Like, those kinds of things bother me. The photo thing, especially, because when you apply for jobs that are like more concrete, bigger jobs for your career, you know, they look at your profiles, they do the background checks. And, you know, I don't put obscene photos on Facebook, but I mean, maybe there's, you know, like a bunch of swimming pictures, you know, where you're shirtless, and I don't want my employer to just be looking at me shirtless. And like, that sounds really weird, you know, and that's a stretch, but that kind of stuff bothers me. And they do that. Like, photos are like one of the biggest things that get like harvested and put with the information that you've already put on Facebook.
Yeah.
And part of it's probably actually watch what you put on there, because you're not forced to put anything on there.
And there's a lot to that. I mean, you didn't have to go to Facebook. You didn't have to put all your information on there.
You didn't have to put the wine drinking.
But now,
that's the thing.
Now we're getting to, go ahead.
Like, you say, like, we didn't, back when I got a Facebook, it was like 2009. I was in middle school. It was meant for specifically social networking. Like, I wanted to post pictures.
It was
and,
the
like, share
next
with my
MySpace.
friends. Now, through the culture that Facebook has developed, and how like literally 2 billion people in the world use Facebook, we start to assume that people use it, and we start to assume that people have it, and we use it as a method to run organizations, to communicate through these organizations. And it's like, I personally am in a spot where I do not feel comfortable supporting Facebook. But because of the organizations I'm a part of, I am forced to use it and interact through it with Messenger and through these groups. And it's just, there's no way to get out of it now. Actually, without being cut out from those groups.
A good way about that, like, we've had our marching band that we've all been a part of. We've used Facebook forever. And it's like, it's not that, like, part of it is just we've been stuck in it, and it's like the best way, but like, it's the best way. Like, there's nothing that's been better. But as of this year, they're changing over to an app that someone finally made for running groups.
Oh,
it's called Band. It started as Band, but now they're doing like sports teams too. But like, it has all the functionality of Facebook, but someone put it somewhere else that isn't Facebook.
Oh, what
it's
is
just
it called?
It's like, part of it's like we all use Facebook, but another part is it's just the best thing. It's, you can make posts, you can talk to people. It's just, the communication just so well, and no one else did it as good until these apps that are finally like, there's a market for people to get off Facebook.
I found it now. It's GroupMe.
Yeah,
GroupMe. I don't like GroupMe.
Even with GroupMe, I don't like it because it's just text. Like,
Yep.
people breeze through text. There's no like post section like what band has. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
we
sense.
need things that have like a post section and then a group talk section.
But why
It's
did they
just a
come up with
message
that? They
form.
came up with that because people were getting, fed up
Tired
with
of
Facebook.
Messenger.
and
So it's now we're finally finding the ability to get away from Facebook.
But the
I think
problem
it'll
is
come up
once you,
soon.
if all those people who have been using it at least, like if you're a new person who's never been on Facebook before and you find apps like this that aren't like harvesting your data, and if they are, they're so small that right now it's not the same thing as Facebook. That's great. But all the people who have been on here forever, you deleted your account, and it says that in that same article, which maybe we should talk about who wrote the article.
Oh yeah.
Give them credit for it. It says
from
very clearly, you deleting your account does nothing to stop all the data that was already harvested and all the data that you already put on there that hasn't necessarily been harvested yet. It's like nothing that you delete off the internet ever stays off the internet, that kind of thought
Yeah.
process. But it's like 100 times as truthful for these this specific social media. And I'm part of the bad group. I mean, I don't text very often. I hate texting.
Same.
Loathe it. I got into Messenger because, well, before it was even the distinction between Facebook and Messenger, it was just like the messaging part of Facebook, I got into that because of what you were talking about, where you can see people responding, because I had an entire circle of friends and family who would tell me I need to stay in touch with them and ask them questions and things. But then I'd sit there anxiously waiting for like an hour or two and no one ever looks at it or responds. But I can't tell if they looked at it or not.
Right.
And the moment I got Facebook, it would tell me when someone's typing to me. And I would be like, okay, cool. They're here, even though they haven't said anything yet.
And now they expect that from you.
But now they expect that from me. And you're right. It snowballs into a larger problem. I still don't text very often. I have a couple professors that for like master's programs, you need to be on a quicker basis that emailing doesn't always get to. So I'll text them, but Messenger is like for every family, every friend, everything.
Right.
If people send me message requests for business stuff, it goes through Messenger usually. Like
Yeah.
it's rarely through email. I got my assistantship for the next year from talking to someone on Messenger who I had never met before.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you're a bigger messenger of people than most.
Yep.
Because like I try and text you, and you'll send the conversation over to Facebook.
Oh, you
Messenger.
stopped. You stopped trying to text me.
I have.
Um,
It's just-
and that's the thing. Messenger still is running through Facebook.
Yeah.
And that scares me. But it's beyond it being Facebook. Like I like that there's more companies out there creating apps that
Yeah.
have the same features as Facebook, but doesn't sell all your data
Yeah.
to random companies.
Because like their stick is, it's an app that you can pay to use, so they don't need to sell your data.
Right. Oh, see, I
Yep.
did not think.
But you gotta watch to make sure that they don't start trying to sell your data.
Facebook being free was in-app transactions was the big thing when it started. Like that funded a lot of that. Besides like the supporters that they had to get sponsors when they started the program and everything. But like Farmville and Cafe World and like all these slot machine games.
Cafe World.
There's tons of them. I can't remember half of them. Bejeweled literally partnered with Facebook to make it. Tetris did as well. You get in-app transactions that were fueling like them building it from the
Right.
bottom up once they got it going. And that's how it overtook like MySpace and all those things so quickly because they didn't have those same features. Now, you got the older people who are like, cool, I can talk to my grandkids and I can play, all these games that we don't even look at anymore. I don't know anyone my age who still plays a Facebook game. But when they came out, we always did.
I have messages like to random people like, be my neighbor on Farm.
Right. Yeah.
Please.
Everyone has it. Everyone did it.
Will you
especially
water
when
my plants?
When it came out. But like all these people who joined Facebook, like, what did you say? 2009 was when you got it.
Yeah.
So 2008, 2009 was probably when we got it too. And that was when it first, was becoming a big thing.
Yeah.
It's probably out for a year or so.
Dude, 10, 11 years ago.
2012 or 14, like somewhere around there was probably about when people who were getting a Facebook stopped going on it for the games.
Yeah.
Like that early on. And so now that the data harvesting and the ads were the only things that they could get the revenue from, unless they were getting more supporters, which if an app's doing super, super well, it's less about supporting it to get it off the ground or to invest in it. It's like, okay, it's fine. We don't have to invest as much anymore. So they need their money from something. And
Yeah.
Right.
selling data to other people seems to be where they went with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see it like as super wrong when it's just used in normal purposes until you get to like people untargeting ads at people, like, because like that's, you got to figure Facebook has to use something. It's just I wish they were more open about it from the beginning,
right?
So that people weren't stuck in it, because like that's their business. Is I get to talk to people and connect to people, and through not paying them, they can just harvest the data off of me that they can send other people. I don't care that much. Like, it's the payment.
If you put harmless data on there for like the terms of advertising, so they can give you products and companies can, make more money. That makes sense because you are allowing them by putting it on there. You are signing away the right to that information, and that's not super damaging unless you talk about untargeting people from ads. However, all those in-app transactions, and I'm not saying that Facebook does this because again I need to do more research on it too, but I know that there are tons of other sites that have been caught for being affiliated with higher up chains of things like Google and a couple other things, where you'll do these in-app transactions and they will harvest some of your like payment information to people. It won't, not completely, they won't give you every single bit of it, but like they harvest bits of the payment information.
Also, for clarification, I don't believe it was Facebook specifically that was untargeting ads. It was the companies that they were selling their data to.
Yeah.
So the fear is that, it's fine that Facebook collects this data. I guess I'm kind of just ignorant for putting it out there, right? But who they sell their data to, they're just trying to make money.
And they might not always know who they're giving it to, really.
Right.
I don't know if you can blame Facebook for the untargeting if you need to be going after the company that said we don't want disabled people living in these houses.
Well, it's their ads that were on Facebook as well. So they sold the data, and then those ads were on Facebook, but it wasn't Facebook wasn't in charge of untargeting.
It's just really far-reaching, and I mean, it gets to each individual person on the site, of course, but I mean, it talks about the obvious things like meddling in the election. How much stuff was in there, and there's a whole paragraph that talks about the spread of fake news and dealing with online harassment, and just a bunch of false ads. Just there's tons of problems that are with it, and it's so prevalent that you wake up in the morning, probably one of the first things you do is check your phone.
Yeah.
And somewhere in that routine of checking your phone, you're checking Facebook. So even if you don't have it anymore for personal reasons, you're right. The business aspect of things, and being part of all these groups, and us being college students, we're social, we're in a ton of things. Mm-hmm. That's where we end up. And there isn't a lot of options to get outside of it right now. They're coming up with them, but even if we're to leave, how do we get all that information off the web?
Right. And kind of dovetailing off this topic and getting more towards moving more towards the topic of the culture that it's created. Something that bugs me to a great extent is how people reacted to the website and what it's been doing. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm kind of changing the subject.
That's okay.
But for example, at the end of this spring semester, I was in 19 group chats that were regularly active. And the thing is, people are adding you in these group chats because they expect you to read
without
them and
your
respond.
Consent.
And they if you don't read them and if you're not active in them, they get upset and they think that you don't care about what's going on, or that you don't want to be their friend or whatever. It's no, it's just when you're in 19 group chats that are constantly active from when I wake up to when I go to bed, that's let's say I spend a minute on each. Mm-hmm. That's 19 minutes of my day just when I check it, check it and respond. And if these are going throughout the entire day, that's
it's
you
draining.
wonder why people are on Facebook all the time.
Well, I don't usually see the issue of people thinking that I should be in it, because we have a Drumline chat, and half the Drumline doesn't respond, but we made it for whoever wants to be in it. We don't send out important information through that channel.
Right. My issue is people be out here
Yeah.
sending important information through this channel.
It's
And I'm
just differentiating, chats don't work for sending out important information.
Right.
I'm in a lot of group chats that I do ignore. And I'll pick the latest one and the most relevant ones in my life, the people I see most often.
That mute button goes on real quick.
Yeah. And this could just be me, but with all this stuff that we talk about in group chats, the conversation could be had in a minute if you called me.
Yep.
People, for a long time, people were like, man, calling is so annoying. it gets the job done so fast. That's one reason why I enjoy it. But then also, if somebody texts me and I accidentally read it or click on it, not only do they think that I read it and I'm ignoring them, but I also have to remember later to be like, oh yeah, I read that. I got to go hit them back up.
Yep.
It's like, just call me and we'll get it figured out right there and then. It takes a minute and I'm not spending all of my time remembering if I click something or not.
I think we now know when we need to plan the next podcast. We got to call Spencer and start texting him.
I told you it's going to be raw. I
You
told you it was
rile
going to be
up
unhinged.
20 group chats when you put them in a podcast
I
group chat.
asked, should we have one? And then Dylan had said, no, Spencer doesn't like group chats. And so I left it alone. And then, like, yesterday or the day before, Spencer was like, we're going to have a group chat for this? Because he knows.
He did it to himself.
He knows it's how we have to be connected. But
Spencer's
even if he
partly
hates
in
it,
Yeah,
the
how
culture.
else were we supposed to get connected?
Call.
Email?
it's
Group
possible.
Group call? Also, it's just a lot less stressful now that school's over. I probably have 2 group chats that are active at once.
There's the biggest problem with Messenger comes to a point of social burnout as well. I mean, like, I can't stand texting. For someone who like advocates for the use of Messenger for myself, I hate texting. It's just an excuse for you to talk with someone all day long. And
Yeah.
I love people. I love the people that I talk to. I'm an introverted person though. When you keep texting me all day long, I don't want to tell you to go away because I don't dislike you.
Right.
But it's really hard to get your recharge time when you're alone, but you're not alone because your phone's always beeping. And if you
dude.
don't answer it, you know, it's the next big crisis. And
Ethan, that is such a good point. That's like exactly where I'm at
Yeah.
with all of it. I'm just like, I just like, I want to be able to put my phone away for 2 hours and not be in fear that somebody's going to hate me when I pick it back up.
Yep.
Or that somebody's going to be upset with me because
Maybe
I
it's
was
just
gone
in
for
partly that you do care. Because sometimes I just put my phone away or I'll forget about it for a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick it up and I answer like 5 and then I'll put it back down and I forget about it again.
Yep.
But even
And I just
yeah.
stop caring.
yeah,
Like
no,
there's only like a few people that I feel I need to text back.
because that's just like my social
semi-regularly.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Hope I fall on that list.
I do also kind of just like freak out about people thinking that I hate them because I like ghost them when in reality there were air quotes.
There's a lot of that cancel culture going on with just like texting and phone calls and that kind of thing.
Like when it's not important information, like
Yeah.
I don't care if they ever get back to me, but if it's important, like if I need to make sure they get to me, I'll just text them once a day, and then like if they don't get back in an hour, I don't care. But if they don't get back in a day, I'll do it again. If we're doing something together.
That's the thing. Like people text you and you leave them on red or something, and instead of calling you, they just think that you're being a piece of garbage. Sometimes.
See, I
Not you. I was just saying. Like,
I kind of just don't care that much.
yeah,
Like
you are the perfect person to be messaged on.
like after a day, then I feel I've been on. If they've read it and it's a day later, then I like they either forgot or they're being a little hoe. And I'll send them a text.
Heard that be coming.
I'll probably say it to myself, and maybe I'll be a little upset, but I'll text them. If they get back, I'll get over it real quick.
I'm hopeful, to bring it back to the topic that we were on for the majority of it. I'm really hopeful that sometime down the line, 5 or so years at like minimum, we come across not a new app necessarily, but like an alternative for what we're on. And, you know, like Facebook becomes the way MySpace was, where it starts to peter out, and, you know, or they find a way that we can get them to, you know, promise that's provable that they're not harvesting the information that way. That's a harmful way.
Right.
So, because I want to get rid of Facebook. I have wanted to for quite a while, but because of that use of Messenger and everything else, I'm kind of...
Message is really easy for you. Just start texting people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You do that to yourself.
There are people who will not like allow actual text to come through their phone now. They will
You.
cancel SMS. No, they will like unsubscribe from SMS messaging, so they
I
will
feel
not
like
get
I'm
it.
like the opposite.
That's the part you pay for. So why get rid of SMS if you're paying for SMS? You're not paying for
You don't
Facebook.
always pay for it. You
Right.
can pay for calling and Wi-Fi. You don't have to have an SMS plan. So they'll cancel
Oh,
that
yeah, that's
part because they don't like texting as well.
Or usually, maybe some people think they don't have a plan, but it's just unlimited because everything, like all calls and texts, seem to be unlimited now. So they don't think they have an SMS plan, but it's somewhere in there.
There's other ones. There's not necessarily only unlimited plans. A lot of people I know have unlimited calling, and that's it. Like it's specifically stated as unlimited calling and only that. But I mean, I would like to not be using it at some point in the future, because we can obviously see there are harmful effects, even if it like none of it was intended to be. I'm sure they made enough money right off the bat. Like maybe if they intended it in the beginning, there's really no point to intend it now for monetary value, because you're $1 billion company.
But like they are a business, and I don't hate them for wanting to thrive.
Yeah, it's just like
the culture for making us have to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's about how like they, I mean, it's not really their fault how they chose to thrive. It's just like I just wish we had something in place to make it a little bit more transparent.
Yeah, I think the problem's like both sides. Like they take too much, but some of us care a little too much.
Yeah.
About like if they find out I had a sandwich for lunch and they use that data, I don't care that much.
Yeah, I get
but some people care for no good
Well,
reason.
because it's creepy,
Like
it's just like the eyes are always on you, or are the microphones in our computers always recording us? Like, is that kind of thing?
Well, that's the too much. But if I posted the picture, that's full right to deep dive into that sandwich and figure out what.
Can you see through the bread and tell me there's mayo on it?
Yeah. It's I guess it's like just kind of whack that like, I mean we click the terms and agreement.
No one reads those anymore, but like they're very important.
Right. Like, and I guess it's my ignorance, but I'm not going to dedicate 3 hours to reading the terms of service. But I guess I could just be a little bit better about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like back to disclaimer, like I don't really mind about what Dylan said, like the sandwich, what I ate for my sandwich.
I'm probably I'll dive a little further from that. Like, I just don't care what they grab from me.
Yeah. It's mostly me just being paranoid.
Yeah.
I mean, it really should just be left up to choice. Like you don't want that information gone. You should have the option to have that private. You
But
don't
then,
care
like,
if people take it. They should have an option to.
But I
allow
feel
you
like
to
if they have that option, it's did you say no? Because then you can't use Facebook.
I have
probably like the payment part. Like instead of saying I give you $5, you give them the right to the data, or they don't let you do it.
And I have a open-ended question for both like the listeners and for you guys.
Sure.
But if you tried to delete your Facebook account and tried to get off of Facebook right now, would you encounter problems like with your social life? And would you encounter problems like conducting your job, like conducting your business, and like going along with like the rest of society?
When your job is media.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like literally, like I literally can't quit Facebook as of right now.
Well, my job is like Facebook.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So that's a little different.
So of course you wouldn't have certain issues with it that us not in that process would have, because like you've seen like the benefits of it as well.
Yeah.
A little bit more than we have. Yeah. I specifically like, I think family wise I'd be fine because I can connect with them in other ways. Friend wise,
my family that much on Facebook anyways.
Yeah. Well, my family is very different from yours, of course. Mine is too big and too connected.
Yeah. Thick fam.
It's a thick fam.
Fam run thick.
But like I enjoy talking to friends over it.
Yeah, and I do too. But that's probably where I'd run into trouble with, because I do have friends that only will talk to me on there. Friends I've met in like 3rd grade that moved away and then somehow found me on Facebook in 10th grade, and suddenly we became like the best of friends through texting. I don't have them on anything else because they don't have anything else. You know?
Especially with you leaving the state.
Exactly. And me being in Oklahoma, I think, is probably the thing that would sum it up the most. I have the most difficulty with not having Facebook because I can't be connecting with the people back at home. Like if I don't connect with them, that friendship's gone. It's as simple as that. It's not like I can't do it because I can't survive. If I do it, I will not have that friendship if you give me a month or two of not talking to these people. Mm-hmm. People are very quick to lose attention, even for the people that they care about. And very like true. You said, they can assume when, no one's responding to them, that means that they don't care.
Right.
So they're just going to stop caring.
Right.
And it's a very sad thing.
It's like, I just want to like put my phone number out there and just be like, done.
Find me.
Done. If you like, I will answer your calls, but I'm done with Facebook, man.
Discord. That works too, I guess. It's a good connection.
Yeah, I don't understand Discord. I have it, and I used it for when I played like a flight simulator with my brother.
I guess like that might be all I need to connect with friends. It's just Discord, because you get voice chat, you get text.
Right.
No one uses Discord for businessy things.
Exactly.
So no one expects you to respond to Discord.
Exactly.
It's nice. So I guess in the comments, just like talk about this yourself, like how you feel about all this data.
Let us hear what you think.
Could you get off of Facebook?
Yeah.
And experience zero problems?
No lies.
It's
Be
a
honest.
social media network.
And do you want to get off Facebook?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want to get off Facebook?